How you doing? My name is James Adu from Innerscope. Welcome to Innerscope Insights. So it's October and I've been tasked to take a group of young people to Northamptonshire for a youth camp, and to my assistance I have a core committed group of youth work volunteers as we go to this camp and hope that it would be filled with fun and excitement and all things good. But we know when working with young people, the journey isn't always as smooth as we intend. So bearing that in mind, on the first day when we arrived there, one of the first things that we did as a team is we established a group agreement, and we made sure that it was very participative. We made sure that the young people can have buy-in and the youth leaders had buy-in, and that everyone would sign up and agree to what was established, which was key. But you know, young people, they've got a way of like just, you know, nudging and trying to push up against the boundaries. And what we find is on one of the days where the sun is out and everyone's having a good time and we're playing rounders, out of the blue, boom, from nowhere, there's a fight. And our youth workers, they just plunge right in, they de-escalate it absolutely beautifully. And what I find is that I'm sitting in front of the two young people that were involved, and I had to remind them both of the group agreement and the consequences that we all established and all signed up to earlier on that week. Now, what was very interesting is one of the young people that were involved was just extremely charismatic, extremely charming, but also extremely challenging. And what I find is that throughout this week, unfortunately, he's just finding a variety of ways just to test the boundaries, whether that's how he's speaking to his peers, how he's speaking to the youth team, how he's, you know, showing a bit of disrespect for the space and the equipment. There was a variety of different ways in which he was testing the boundaries. And it got to a point where he was literally on his last warning. Now, one thing he was aware of is that if he was to cross the line, he would be sent home. Irrespective of us being 2 hours away from home, he would be sent home. And if I was to be honest, and I reckon if he was to be honest, I would think he would have said that he wouldn't have thought that actually that would have been the case. He wouldn't have thought that he would have been sent home. But it got to a point where I found out that he had interrupted an activity that he wasn't supposed to be involved in. And as a result, I find myself in this dilemma, because I'm actually in a situation where I have to ask myself and my team, do I send him home? And after talking it through and thinking it through, the answer to that question was yes. I know it's 2 hours away. I know you probably didn't think that we would actually follow through, but you're going to have to be sent home. And when I had that conversation with this young man, the emotion just rose up in him. There was tears, there was anger, there was frustration, but it had to be done. But fast forward, you know, a few months after, when it was time for my wife and I to leave this area and to leave our jobs, when I had the conversation with the young people and broke the news to them, funnily enough, it was this young person that said, but who's going to send me home from camp? And although he said it with an element of jest, there was something within that. When we had further conversations at later points, one of the things that he said to me was, James, you actually sent me home. You actually sent me home. In other words, he was saying, you followed through. And although for the most part of this camp, I'm pulling my hair out because he's pushing up against everything, in that moment it was clear that he was actually communicating that he values the boundaries. He values the safety that was created. He values authority. So in closing, I guess my question for you guys as you walk into your training rooms, as you walk into your classrooms, as you walk into the context where you work with young people and students is, are you willing to follow through? Do you have a resolve to follow through? My name is James Adu. Thank you so much for tuning in to Innerscope Insights episode 1. Stay tuned and have a great week. Go into those classrooms, go into those training rooms and make a difference.